And now to some disturbing news surrounding last night's Grammy Awards out in Los Angeles. Pop star Chris Brown arrested. The 19-year-old left a police station in the back of an SUV after posting bail. He's under investigation for the alleged felony assault of an unidentified woman.
This is what you might even consider a talking indictment. That's kind of lingo for prosecutors who say, load that thing up with everything possible because now it's public record. It's remarkable the amount that Rihanna was able to actually remember and articulate in her conversations with police officers. And what's really important here, Rick, is the details are actually corroborated by forensics, the blood in the car and on the clothes, the text messages that went back and forth, which, by the way, that's the reason for this search warrant. And what's really important here, Rick, is the details are actually corroborated by forensics, the blood in the car and on the clothes, the text messages that went back and forth, which, by the way, that's the reason for this search warrant.
And what's really important here, Rick, is the details are actually corroborated by forensics, the blood in the car and on the clothes, the text messages that went back and forth, which, by the way, that's the reason for this search warrant.
This was a warrant to get the cellular records from all of the phones involved. And now those text messages, those phone calls out and in, and also the messages that were left and the calls that went from the police officer's cell phone on the scene will all play into this case because they corroborate the detail that Rihanna actually provided herself. Have responded to this, who called 911, also corroborate all this. This doesn't matter if Rihanna comes forward. She could be in love with him right now. They could prosecute and put him away for this.
And we begin at 10 with breaking news. A Grammy Award nominee has just posted bail on criminal threat charges. Criminal threat charges. Chris Brown is accused of assault and battery. Neither he nor his girlfriend, singer Rihanna, showed up at tonight's award show. KCAL9's Soraya Fidel live now at the Mid-Wilshire LAPD station with the breaking details. Soraya?
And Juan, just a few hours ago, we saw Chris Brown drive off with his attorneys out here minutes after he posted bail. According to sources, the alleged fight broke out inside a Lamborghini that was located at Hancock Park.
Exact charge was criminal threats, and it's going to be investigated as a criminal threat. Exact charge was criminal threats, and it's going to be investigated as a criminal threat.
Exact charge was criminal threats, and it's going to be investigated as a criminal threat.
It's investigation. There may be domestic violence charges added later, but that will be up to the district attorney's office.
Sources tell KCAL9 and CBS2 Brown's girlfriend, 20-year-old pop star Rihanna, is the woman involved in the alleged domestic violence assault case. According to sources, 911 calls reported a woman screaming in this Hancock neighborhood shortly after midnight. Sources say Brown fled the scene on foot, and police found facial contusions and bite marks on the victim's arm. And police found facial contusions and bite marks on the victim's arm. And police found facial contusions and bite marks on the victim's arm.
And police found facial contusions and bite marks on the victim's arm.
Exact charge was criminal threats, and it's going to be investigated as a criminal threat.
Exact charge was criminal threats, and it's going to be investigated as a criminal threat.
It's investigation. There may be domestic violence charges added later, but that will be up to the district attorney's office.
For the latest on Chris Brown and Rihanna, we have Harvey Levin joining us now, and more details seem to be coming out about this. But one of the most interesting things, Harvey, is her injuries being described as horrific. What is that all about? What is horrific?
Well, we now know exactly what it was going on in terms of the injuries, and we put it up last night that law enforcement, and this is 100% here, they are describing the injuries as horrific, and I can be specific. She has two huge contusions on either side of her face, swelling, bruising, a busted lip, a bloody nose. She had bite marks on several of her fingers and her arm. She told police that Chris Brown struck her with his fists, and he has had some training in Taekwondo. There were photographs taken. The police took photographs before she left the scene. these photographs are extremely, extremely graphic. And what I am told, and the way it's put to me, is it at this point doesn't really matter whether Rihanna cooperates or not. I'm not suggesting that she may not. I'm just saying it almost doesn't matter. These pictures are so powerful that it looks as if there's no choice but to charge Chris Brown.
She's been cooperating so far, from what I've heard, and she didn't call 911. Someone heard her screaming.
Yeah, she was not the one to call. It was somebody in the area who called. I am told it is quite the call. This one will not be released because LAPD has a policy of not releasing these, but it is, it's an interesting call from what I'm told.
What do you mean?
I haven't really even said this on the site, but I'll, is it just us? Should I whisper this?
Yes,
No one
please.
watches this show. Please, go ahead.
The person who called, it sounds like it's right out of Central Casting. The person who called, it sounds like it's right out of Central Casting. The person who called, it sounds like it's right out of Central Casting.
The person who called, it sounds like it's right out of Central Casting.
She was not the one to call. She was not the one to call.
She was not the one to call.
She was not the one to call. She was not the one to call.
She was not the one to call.
Well, there's still a lot of unanswered questions about Brown's arrest, including was there a real physical attack, and if so, who was the victim?
Authorities are investigating what took place early Sunday in the ritzy Hancock Park neighborhood, shortly after Brown and longtime girlfriend Rihanna were seen happily sitting together at the annual pre-Grammy party hosted by Clive Davis. The couple reportedly got into a strong argument. That argument reportedly turned ugly when Brown and the woman got out of the car. Police say they got a 911 call from an unidentified woman, claiming Brown assaulted her. A passerby called police who said the woman had visible injuries.
A passerby called police who said the woman had visible injuries.
Police say they got a 911 call from an unidentified woman,
Claiming Brown assaulted her.
Los Angeles police arrested Brown on suspicion of making a criminal threat. Police say a criminal threat charge indicates a person makes a threat and has the capacity to carry it out. The Los Angeles Times is reporting that Brown's girlfriend, Rihanna, was the victim in the case, but police are not naming names. Rihanna was the victim in the case, but police are not naming names.
Rihanna was the victim in the case, but police are not naming names.
Brown was released after posting $50,000 bail. Rihanna's publicist declined to say why the singer did not appear, saying only that she was well and expressing thanks for the concern. Brown's representatives also refused to discuss the allegations or his arrest. Meantime, Wrigley says it's suspending ad campaigns featuring Chris Brown as its spokesman for Doublemint Gum.
She was not the one to call. She was not the one to call.
She was not the one to call.
Rihanna. We got the picture of what Rihanna looked like right after the attack, and it is about as graphic as anything you've ever seen. She's got
2-horn contusion. She's got a bloody lip. Her eyes are swollen. Her nose is swollen.
The last thing to say is the way we got this was 100% legal. I have to tell you, at least as we have this meeting, I certainly am not convinced that this is even an LAPD photo. I certainly am not convinced that this is even an LAPD photo.
I certainly am not convinced that this is even an LAPD photo.
The photo makes it real. I mean, now there's no dancing around it anymore. It's right there in your face, and if you don't have a stance on this now, that's beyond me.
The security camera footage you're watching is allegedly of R&B superstar Pretty Boy Flizzy holding up a liquor store in Woodcrest. While it is difficult to clearly see the suspect's face, authorities say his sexiness is an exact match. This isn't Flizzy's first run-in with the law. Last year, he received 4 months probation after beating his then-girlfriend, Kristina.
You faked the robbery. I watched the surveillance tape, Flizzy. The whole tape. I know you staged the robbery.
You just couldn't leave shit alone, could you?
Cut! There was a PA in the shot! Reset! Man, I'm getting sweaty. Pretty sweaty. Is someone deaf? Shine check. Can you throw me a line?
What else was fake? Were the Nicaraguan guns fake? Did you really even beat Kristina?
Don't you ever question whether or not I beat Kristina. I whooped that bitch's ass. Damn, Tom, why couldn't you just mind your own business?
I'm your attorney. This is my business. But why?
Because I gotta stay relevant, that's why.
The Chris Brown and Rihanna love story was simply just a rebirth and a continuation of the Whitney Houston and Bobbi Brown tumultuous relationship that stole the hearts of millions of fans all across the world throughout the early 90s. This is why Chris Brown was heavily compared to Bobbi Brown early on in his career. That was all done intentionally by the elites, to have Chris Brown compared to Bobbi Brown as a plot twist to the Bobbi and Whitney script. This is why Chris Brown was given the same last name as Bobbi Brown.
Mr. Paul Mooney Jr., we're ready for your closing arguments.
Thank you, Your Honor. They just don't have the same last name in common. The bad boy persona, yes. Oh, hell yeah. But what else do they have in common? What we're gonna prove, Your Honor, without a shadow of a doubt, is that Chris Brown is the new Bobbi Brown. And first off, Your Honor, they both had the same bipolar-ass temper. I mean, both being dubbed the bad boys of R&B. But Bobbi, Whitney had to, God rest your soul, Whitney had to fucking leave your ass because I heard this nigga was painting eyes all over the fucking house like he's trying to be some damn Picasso to watch her. And another thing that they have in common, Your Honor, is that these niggas got charges.
And also why Bobbi Brown daughter was named Bobbi Kristina.
After beating his then-girlfriend, Kristina.
This theory could be a reach, but I believe that Bobbi Kristina's boyfriend Nick Gordon may very well be playing the role as an extended character to Chris Brown's role in carrying out the script of Bobbi Brown and Whitney relationship. This is like a plot twist by the elites. Chris, but played by Nick, is playing the role as a brother to Bobbi Kristina. Hence how her name is Bobbi Chris. Also the name Nick rhymes with Chris. The complexion change was so that it wouldn't be obvious that it's all scripted. Later on in the film, I'll use Rihanna bathtub scene in an old video to confirm my theory.
He was just 12 when he joined Whitney Houston's family.
My name is Nick Gordon. My life changed dramatically when I met Chrissy and Whitney. I was going to high school. My mom had kicked me out of the house.
Whitney Houston took Nick Gordon in at the urging of her only child, Bobbi Kristina Brown.
We were best friends long ago.
Whitney never adopted Nick Gordon, but did allow him to live with her famous family, growing up alongside Bobbi Kristina. When the singer died in 2012, media attention began to focus on Bobbi Kristina and Nick Gordon's relationship. He downplayed the idea they were dating to ABC News, saying, "We're just close, just going through her mom's passing and grieving together." He also confirmed on Twitter that he and Bobbi Kristina are not blood relatives, writing, "For the stupid people out there, she gave birth to one child, and she trusted me with everything."
Whitney Houston's brother told ABC News years ago that Nick Gordon was like a son to her. But not everyone in the family is feeling the love. In fact, Bobbi Kristina's aunt got a restraining order against him last year. She claimed he posted photos of guns and made threats against her. A Georgia court granted the protective order for 1 year, forbidding any contact, finding she was in reasonable fear for her safety.
Gordon has had other trouble too, like a DUI arrest last August. Despite his issues, Bobbi Kristina said yes when he proposed. She was spotted wearing an engagement ring. In July 2013, Bobbi Kristina wrote on Facebook, "Yes, we, me, Nick are engaged. I'm tired of hearing people say, 'Ew, you're engaged to your brother.' My mom never adopted him." About 6 months later came the announcement on Twitter that the couple had secretly been married. A lawyer for the family says they are not husband and wife. But still, Bobbi Kristina tweeted in January last year, #happily married, so in love. A follow-up to gushing tweets like this one. "Nick Gordon, you are my moon, my sun, my love of my life. I'll be by your side forever. You are my world." Meanwhile, the man she calls the love of her life is not at her bedside. Police are taking a closer look at his actions the day Bobbi Kristina was found. And a family friend says he's not welcome at the hospital. Randy Kay, CNN.
So what was going on in your household that you ended up moving in with the Houstons?
Probably wasn't the brightest child. You know, I gave my mom a couple problems, and I didn't agree with my stepdad on some things. And
yeah. Did you ask your mom to let you move in with him?
No.
Did you just leave, or how
no? It wasn't. I didn't want to come to Florida at the time.
So she was moving to Florida then?
Yeah.
And so how did it come that you actually moved in with the Houstons then?
Nippy asked me to move in, and I said yeah.
Who asked you?
Nippy. Whitney asked me to move in, yeah.
And what do you call her?
Nippy.
Nippy?
That's her nickname.
Who asked you?
Nippy. Whitney asked me to move in, yeah.
And what do you call her?
Nippy.
Nippy?
That's her nickname.
Who asked you?
Nippy. Whitney asked me to move in, yeah.
And what do you call her?
Nippy.
Nippy?
That's her nickname.
Who asked you? Nippy. Whitney asked me to move in, yeah. And what do you call her?
Nippy.
Nippy?
That's her nickname, yeah.
And she asked you to move in, why?
Oh, you know what, I don't know. If I had to take a guess, you know, they were very lonely, you know, they were hurt, and I guess I was trustworthy or the guy to move in. And
were you going to school at the time?
I was, and I stopped when I moved in.
Were you like a senior, junior?
Junior.
So was it just the three of you there?
Just the three of us there.
So you were kind of the man in the house to do things. Did you like handle cars and stuff around the house and that sort of thing?
Nip believed in having somebody come and fix it or something like that. Nip believed in having somebody come and fix it or something like that.
Nip believed in having somebody come and fix it or something like that.
That wasn't for me, man. That was for my bro, man. That's for Nipsey, man. 20 plus 20 plus 20. They know what that means, man. That's for my bro.
Historic, symbolic, call it what you will. Just days after rapper and cultural staple Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed, Russell Westbrook arrived to Chesapeake Arena, rocking what else than Marathon Clothing's own merch. 20 points, 20 rebounds, 21 assists. The only other man to pull off a 20-20-20 triple-double, Wilt Chamberlain, all the way back in 1968. The reason it's so symbolic, Westbrook is a native of Los Angeles, attending high school in Longdale. He, like many other athletes, mourned the loss of their fallen brother, Nipsey Hussle.
I thank Nipsey Russell. I thank, I said it right, Russell, who loved Nipsey, did something in the last game, 20-20-20. And he said, this is for you, Nipsey. Now let's look at 20-20-20. It's 60. In the book of Revelations, bear with me 5 more minutes.
Breaking news out of the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder traded Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets.
Adrian Wojnarowski, of course, first with the news of this trade here with us on SportsCenter to fill us in on what else is happening. Woj, from first making Russ available to making a deal seems to have happened really quickly. How did it all come together?
Very much by design. Very much by design.
Very much by design.
John, Oklahoma City, Russell Westbrook, they did not want this to linger, and they were aggressive this week in searching out trade partners. Houston, Miami. Detroit showed some interest, but it was really a Houston-Miami derby. And, you know, earlier today, Houston, Oklahoma City came to terms on an agreement.
Thank Nipsey
Russell Westbrook.
They know what that means, man.
I said it right.
Who asked you?
Nippy. Whitney asked me. Yeah.
And what do you call her?
Nippy.
This is why Chris Brown and Rihanna officially started dating in 2007, which was the exact same year that Bobbi Brown and Whitney Houston would officially get divorced. It is also documented that Bobbi Brown physically abused Whitney Houston, just how Chris Brown did to Rihanna 2 years later. February 8th, 2009, the night of the 51st Grammys, was the horrific incident of the Chris Brown fight with Rihanna. Both Chris and Rihanna were said to have attended Clive Davis' pre-Grammy party, but never attended the Grammy Awards ceremony later that night. Ironically, 3 years later in 2012, singer Whitney Houston was found dead inside a bathroom tub in her hotel room. This also led to so-called conspiracy theories that spread all across the internet, stating that Rihanna's video that she did in 2011, a year before Whitney Houston's death, was predictive programming. The higher-ups purposely put out these rumors and conspiracies to spark debates and to distract the masses from seeing that all of these events are staged.
CNN has confirmed that Whitney Houston has died at the age of 48. Beverly Hills Police Department Lieutenant Mark Rosen coming out and confirming that information in a live press conference on CNN moments ago. Here's what they said. They said at 3:23 in the afternoon in Los Angeles, Pacific time, West Coast time, they got a call into the Beverly Hills Police Department that someone was unconscious. They arrived within 2 to 3 minutes at the Beverly Hilton Hotel up on the 4th floor. When they got to the 4th floor room, the person who was residing in that room was Whitney Houston. She was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not. And she was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not. And she was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not.
And she was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not.
Friends, family, and co-workers confirmed that it was Whitney Houston. They identified her at 3:55 Pacific time. Whitney Houston, 48 years old, pronounced dead.
Yes, good morning, George. It happened here at 3:43 yesterday afternoon when a member of Houston's entourage located her body inside this hotel. So far, police and the coroner are refusing to offer details about what may have caused her tragic death. Exactly what happened inside the iconic Beverly Hilton remains a mystery. Iconic Beverly Hilton. Iconic Beverly Hilton.
Iconic Beverly Hilton.
We have seen a great metropolis
constructed in this area. And now we have here this hotel, the Beverly Hilton.
The Beverly Hilton is at the heart of Hollywood's most memorable moments in history. Since opening in 1955, this legendary hotel has seamlessly combined the glamour of Tinseltown with the prestige of Beverly Hills in order to host so many of the world's most iconic guests and important events. From presidents, politicians, and royalty, to major athletes, musicians, and celebrities, no other hotel equals the guest list of global trendsetters, tastemakers, and industry leaders.
Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub. Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub.
Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub.
When they got to the 4th floor room, the person who was residing in that room was Whitney Houston. She was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not. And she was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not.
And she was on the floor. They tried to revive her. They could not.
Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub. Inside her hotel room bathtub. Inside her hotel room bathtub.
Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub.
We turn now to Bobbi Kristina, the daughter of Whitney Houston, and Bobbi Brown passed away last night. The 22-year-old's death coming 6 months after she was found unresponsive in a bathtub. After she was found unresponsive in a bathtub.
After she was found unresponsive in a bathtub.
Inside her hotel room bathtub. Inside her hotel room bathtub.
Inside her hotel room bathtub.
After she was found unresponsive in a bathtub.
After she was found unresponsive in a bathtub.
The circumstances all too similar to how Bobbi Kristina's mother died at the Beverly Hilton in 2012.
It was so sad. She so wanted to follow in her mom's footsteps. Very tragic.
New details we're getting on the New Year's Eve death of Nick Gordon. That's the former fiance of Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobbi Kristina. He was held legally responsible, you may remember, for Bobbi Kristina's death back in 2015. Amy Robach is here now live with more. Good morning to you, Amy.
Hey, TJ, good morning. Nick Gordon and Bobbi Kristina had a very complicated relationship, and now, nearly 5 years after her death, he has passed away after a reported overdose. Nick Gordon and Bobbi Kristina had a very complicated relationship, and now, nearly 5 years after her death, he has passed away after a reported overdose.
And just like Chris Brown and Rihanna attended Clive Davis' pre-Grammy party before their alleged fight, Whitney Houston visited Clive Davis at a rehearsal for the pre-Grammy party before her death, which so happened to be a day after the Chris Brown and Rihanna incident unfolded 3 years before. Ironically, Whitney died February 11th, 2012, which so happened to be 9 days before Rihanna's birthday. Chris Brown is also now being painted as the victim and Rihanna as the evil aggressor, in addition to stories being changed to hide that it was all a hoax.
7 years ago, when I was about 17, 18, you know, the whole Rihanna incident happened. And, you know, a lot of that changed my life. And that night at that Clive Davis party, that I made sure the person that I was involved with before, I said, hey, you can't come around to these places. And the person comes in, comes right to the table, say, hey, what's up, y'all? And I already know it's an issue, so I say, hey, cool. And I keep it, and they keep it moving and leave. I look over at Rihanna, and she's bawling, she's just crying. In the middle of the ceremony about to start, she's just crying, and I'm like, yo, please, babe, don't do this. Like, don't do this in here. Like I didn't know, I promise, I swear to God, I didn't know. So she got over it, she started drinking a little bit, we both were drinking a little bit. And we was tipsy, laughing, joking, you know, and then we left.
And Juan, just a few hours ago, we saw Chris Brown drive off. According to sources, the alleged fight broke out inside a Lamborghini that was located at Hancock Park.
As you know, young relationships, any relationship is based on trust, but because I told her that she didn't trust me with anything. So I would give her the option of, oh, you can look at my phone. So I gave her the phone. She looks at the phone and there's a message and it says, kill the Grammys, do your thing. And I didn't read the rest of the message, I didn't open it. So she opened the message and the rest of the message said, I'll see you at the Cloud Party. So all thought she thought I was lying. She starts going off, she throws the phone, I hate you, whatever. Starts hitting me, we're in a little Lamborghini. You know, she's fighting me and I'm like, look, I'm telling you the truth, I swear to God.
It is hard to imagine a more glamorous star, and she is breaking her silence for the first time since we saw that picture of her so bruised and battered last February. Tomorrow, she will describe in detail what happened in the car with Chris Brown.
In the car on the way home, she says Chris is driving, and she saw a text message on his cell phone from a girl and got angry.
I caught him in LA, and he wouldn't tell the truth. I wouldn't drop it. I kept saying I couldn't take that. He kept lying to me, and he couldn't take that I wouldn't drop it. Because obviously, his back was up against the wall. The truth is right here in the text message. So, it escalated into him being violent towards me, and it was ugly.
Tomorrow, she will tell us what happened that left her so bloody, bruised, battered, and why she went back, and what other girls she hopes will hear.
When I realized that my selfish decision for love could result into some young girl getting killed, I could not be easy with that part. I couldn't be held responsible for telling them, go back. Chris, even if Chris never hit me again, who's to say that their boyfriend won't? Who's to say that they won't kill these girls? And these are young girls, and I just didn't realize how much of an impact I had on these girls' lives until that happened. It was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for me, big time.
Well, you were involved in the Chris Brown Rihanna assault case.
I was.
On the Chris Brown side.
Yes. I always represent the bad guy.
Right.
According to my family, anyway. And they had worked out a deal. Well, all of a sudden, I don't know if you remember, but naked pictures of Rihanna surfaced on the internet. And
wait, naked pictures or the beat-up pictures of her
naked
face?
Pictures.
Oh, naked pictures. Okay.
The beat-up pictures came, somebody from the LAPD sold them. No. Topless pictures that were taken from her cell phone that she had allegedly sent to Chris when they were dating.
Okay.
And they ended up on the internet. My understanding is that Rihanna lost body fluid, contacted the DA after they had made a deal but had not been solidified by the court. Garagos had me find the source because, again, Chris flat out said, I didn't do this. And he had me find the source of the photographs. Ultimately, during that time period, not only did I find the source of the photographs, we also found other pictures. The same person had of Cassie Ventura, who at the time Cassie was Sean Combs' Puffy, P. Did whatever he's calling himself.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So that person had leaked those simultaneously. And what it turned out to be is Rodney Jerkins, who's a producer.
I know Rodney Jerkins.
Okay. Somebody had hacked Rodney's phone and gotten phone numbers of Cassie and Rihanna and Rihanna, whatever, some other people. And that person had gone into those phones. And that's sort of what it was. And that was the extent of my involvement to get Rihanna to back down so that he could do no jail time.
Aha. So basically, Rihanna wanted Chris Brown to go to jail, not because he beat her up, but because he had leaked her nude photos.
Chris, O.G.
There were talks about you possibly doing a buyout with Whitney, or is that you still interested?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Are you interested in it?
I mean, who wouldn't be? It's Whitney Houston. She's the bomb.